Previously in the story, Caden gets injured and has to turn into a cat to escape from his attackers. Jiwoo rescues him, and the two start living together. One day, while on a walk, they come across a menacing cat that Jiwoo defeats with the help of Caden and takes it back home. However, when Delin releases his energy, the cat escapes from their home, and now Jiwoo wants to go rescue the cat again. Carrying Caden inside his shirt, Jiwoo quickly runs to find the cat. Caden concludes that Jiwoo's awakened ability must be super speed, and his related abilities have also been developed. Since Jiwoo doesn't know what related abilities are, Caden tells him that to move fast, he must need good reflexes, dynamic vision, and other things that are essential for a speedster. As the two keep moving, Caden asks Jiwoo how much longer he can maintain his speed. So Jiwoo replies that he could run at max speed for 2 seconds, and multiple times if he uses it in short bursts. That's what I said to my ex too, although for a different thing. Since the cat is nowhere to be seen, Caden tells Jiwoo to go to the energy source, as he thought that the cat would be there too. Meanwhile, the cat follows the energy imprint to reach Delane finally, and upon seeing him, Delane couldn't help but notice that the cat looked weaker. The cat hissed at Delane, and when it continued to be aggressive towards him, Delane sensed that its energy was getting strong and realized that the cat was awakened. Reaching there, Jiwoo immediately wants to go and help the cat out, but Caden pulls him back, telling him to just observe for now and asking if he doesn't see that human there. Since he is an awakened one, Caden tells Jiwoo that he can't just blindly go to him. The cat was also related to him in some way, since Delane's energy was attracting it. The cat lunges at Delane, but he stops it in the air with a flick of his hand and yeets it against a wall. God, I wish I could get my hands on this disgrace of a man. Getting up, the cat was ready to attack Delane once again, even though it was gravely injured, but Delane smacked it against the wall yet again, and Jiwoo was horrified by the sight. Shit, that's enough. I'm teleporting inside the manhwa to send him. Caden could tell that the guy is strong since he is controlling his powers just by flicking his hand, and realizes that he has psychic powers. Even though the cat's physical attributes are stronger than normal cats, Delane feels that it isn't enough, and wonders if it was all the cat could do in its awakened state. He steps on the cat to see if it is alive, and putting on his hat, Jiwoo gets ready to save the cat, no matter the repercussions. Caden tells him to stop, as Delane is an awakened one, and when Jiwoo insists, Caden asks what he would do if the man tried to kill him. After giving him a talk no jutsu, Caden thinks that Jiwoo has finally backed down. Meanwhile, the cat hissed at Delane, but instead of attacking him this time, it tried to skedaddle out of there. However, Delane gravely injures the cat and wants to finish it off. Seeing the cruelty, Jiwoo tells Caden that he is going to save the cat. Caden warns him that even if he is quick, Delane is an awakened one, and since his senses are not like normal people, he would notice his movements. However, Jiwoo apologizes to Caden for not listening to him, even if he is worried about him. Blood thinks Caden gives AF in the first place. Jiwoo is fixed on rescuing the cat no matter what, and in a matter of seconds, he appears in front of Delane, grabs the cat, dodges his attack, and disappears. Delane thinks that Jiwoo must be a tracker, and decides to get away thinking that more trackers will arrive soon. Jiwoo is happy that he managed to save the cat, but Caden is pissed at him, since he put himself in danger by revealing himself. However, Jiwoo can't just leave the cat to die, and Caden calls him a naive, idiotic doofus. He had no idea that Jiwoo would succeed in rescuing the cat, and he even moved more quickly than he expected. For some reason, Jiwoo is excited that he was able to do something proud with the powers that he hated, and keeps on yapping. So Caden tells him to shut the F up. Returning to his hideout, Delane is frustrated because of losing the sample that he worked so hard on, and tells his subordinate, Woo-in, that he completed a sample but lost it to a tracker. He feels like they need to leave their hideout to escape from the trackers, run experiments using the data they have gathered, and look for the escaped cat. Going back home, Caden uses his power to heal the cat and puts its life out of danger. However, the cat has been through a lot and needs plenty of rest. If it was any other cat, the cat would have died by now, but thanks to its awakened power, the cat was able to survive. Ji-woo is surprised to learn that it's an awakened cat, and it is also Caden's first time seeing an awakened animal. He has heard about experiments to make awakened animals and wonders if this cat was also subjected to dangerous experiments. Seeing the worried look on his face, Ji-woo asks Caden if something is wrong, so Caden replies that his existence is wrong, and it could only be fixed by a goth mommy big titty blessed by the booba god with huge jiggly wigglies girl. Okay, jokes aside, Caden is actually angry at Ji-woo for picking a fight with an awakened one, as he thinks that Delane would never stop chasing him until he gets his cat back and destroys Ji-woo's body. Wait, that sounded wrong too. Anyways, being the over-the-top optimistic guy, Ji-woo thinks Delane wouldn't put so much effort into a nobody like him, and hearing this, Caden curses Ji-woo's idiocy in 70 different languages and wonders how he would explain the grueling world of the awakened one to a softie like Ji-woo. However, he ultimately decides to keep those things hidden for now, thinking that Ji-woo is better off not knowing. Ji-woo again apologizes to Caden for not doing as he said, and for making him worried, so Caden reminds him that someone great like him would never be worried for him. We all know he's lying. Ignoring everything, he tells Ji-woo to just watch out from now on, as he has made an enemy already and took his belongings. Before long, Ji-woo's alarm starts to ring, and when he goes to get ready for school, Caden gets shocked, realizing that he has just spent a whole night trying to cure a goofy cat and talking to a good-for-nothing femboy. Before leaving, Ji-woo reminds Caden that he left some food for him, and expresses his concerns over the cat he saved, wondering what might happen if the cat wakes up, so Caden offers to watch over it, saying that a cat wouldn't be able to do anything to him. Ji-woo starts singing his praises, so Caden gets on the high horse and tells Ji-woo that he is considered one of the greatest awakened ones in the world. Hearing this, Ji-woo thinks that Caden must have been great as a human, but he can't see that since he is just a fat cat now. Caden gets angry at him for saying this, and Ji-woo hides behind a wall. Before leaving for school, he begs Caden to just stay with him at least until he gets better. He then goes to school, and Caden ultimately decides to stay there for a bit more time. The other cats then come to him mewing and start getting all clingy with him. One of the cats decides to take a bite from his cat bowl, so Caden gets angry, and the cats tremble in fear. He suddenly remembers Ji-woo telling him that those cats brought him to his injured body, so he decides to just let them eat his food, gaslighting himself that he doesn't like cat food anyway. As the cats start to eat, they look at Caden to see if he is actually okay. And when Caden looks back at them, they just start munching down the food again. Caden's tummy is rumbling too, and luckily there's canned tuna right in front of him, so he opens it up with his sharp nails. The cats smell what's cooking, but Caden scares them all away with a bombastic side-eye. Coming back home, Ji-woo sees all of his cats passed out and sees a bunch of empty tuna cans everywhere, clearly not eaten by Caden, the first of his names, father of kittens, and breaker of tuna cans. As a child, Ji-woo asked his mother if he is not a human, so she replied that he was, but was just a little different than other humans, as he could move fast. Ji-woo's friends used to call him a monster, so he asked his mother if it was wrong to have powers like him. She replied that it wasn't anyone's fault, so if it wasn't anyone's fault, then Ji-woo asked why they were still running away. His mother didn't have an answer to this, and the two ended up hugging each other. Once, when he was watching some children playing football, a cat meowed at him and started rubbing its body against Ji-woo. Ji-woo got startled at first, but when he pet the cat back, It started his journey of creating a cat harem. Ji-woo suddenly wakes up in class when the teacher calls his name. Since Ji-woo is a good student, the teacher planned to let the transgression slide, but he had been sleeping through 2 classes in a row now. Seeing the clueless look on his face, the teacher asks Ji-woo if something is wrong and offers to talk with him. Ji-woo appreciates the gesture and suddenly runs away from the class so he can get back to Kaden. He accidentally bumps into Woo-in, and he turns out to be a student who transferred to Ji-woo's class last month. He apologizes to Woo-in for bumping into him and runs away. Dr. Delane then calls Woo-in, asking where he is, and when he replies that he is in the school, Delane tells him to stop acting like a real student and orders him to get his useless ass back to the lab. At Ji-woo's home, the cat finally wakes up and hisses at the cats when they try to greet it. The cats get scared and run away, and the menacing cat follows them. It lunges at the cats, but the defender of kittens drop kicks the cat and knocks it out. The other cats cheer their sugar daddy and start getting all clingy, which makes Kaden angry. When Ji-woo comes back and the cats run up to him, he gives affection to all of them. Why do I suddenly feel jealous of cats? Seeing Kaden, Ji-woo asks if has eaten anything while he was gone, and thinking that he hasn't eaten, he instructs him that he should still eat even if he doesn't like cat food. However, when he sees an empty tuna can, he thinks that he is worried about nothing. Looking at the sleeping awakened cat, he is concerned, wondering why it hasn't woken up. So Kaden tells him that it woke up once, just before he returned, hiding the fact that he drop-kicked the cat. Out of curiosity, he asks Ji-woo that the cats he has are strays, and he doesn't keep them in the house all the time, but why does he still get so many things for them? So Ji-woo replies that when he was young, he didn't have friends because he moved around a lot, and couldn't get close to anyone. But since everybody needs some sort of a relationship to survive in this world, Ji-woo decided to get along with cats, and found a friend in a cat who always stayed by his side whenever he was having a hard time. However, the cat just vanished one day, and he couldn't find it anywhere. Then his family moved away, and since that time, he has helped any stray cat he came across, and always provides them with things that a person would get for their pet cats. After telling this story, Ji-woo decides to go to sleep since he didn't sleep last night, and felt tired. Just before he goes to sleep, he tells Kaden how happy he is because of his presence, and again tells him to stay with him until he gets better. Since the all-great Kaden can't handle genuine compliments just like me, because we never got any in our lives, he tells Ji-woo to stop yapping and start napping. In their new hideout, Dr. Delane performed experiments again on other cats, and even though he used the same drugs, it didn't work. Woo-in had put some of the lab animals away, telling Delane that they died when he wasn't present, so he got rid of them. Delane feels frustrated, as he needs to show results to the organizations he works for, and thinks that the trackers will be on them sooner or later. He asks Woo-in to bring more animals for experimentation, so Woo-in replies that they have used all the animals they have. When Delane orders him to catch some more, Woo-in warns him that people have already started noticing the disappearance of animals, and police have also intervened. Being an absolutely disgusting, degenerate man, Delane slashes Woo-in in the face, shouting and asking how dare he talk to him like that. Woo-in apologizes, and Delane tells him to just get the animals from another area. That night, Kaden gathers his powers, but feels that it isn't going at the rate he wants it to go. And moreover, he lent some powers to Ji-woo as well, and that hindered his progress. However, he feels that it was worth it, as Ji-woo was in a pickle at that time. He is concerned about Delane, as forced awakening is banned in the world because of how dangerous it is, and he would definitely come after Ji-woo since he has found out what he is doing. He might just ignore Ji-woo, but if that is not the case, then Kaden thinks that he is in danger. Sitting on his chest, Kaden thinks that Ji-woo is having a bad dream and thinks that it must be because of the horrific incident with the cat. However, when Ji-woo says in his sleep that something heavy is pressing his chest, Kaden realizes just how much of a he is and gets off him immediately. Boy, that cat is thick. Jiwoo immediately gets up trying to breathe and tells Caden that someone was choking him so hard that he couldn't breathe, which makes Caden feel disgusted about himself. He tells Jiwoo that it must have happened to him because of the cat incident, and Jiwoo replies that all of this worries him a lot. Seeing how he just smiles all the time, Caden thinks that Jiwoo didn't even listen to him, so Jiwoo just chuckles and thanks Caden for worrying about him. Even though he starts blushing, Caden doesn't agree that he likes the softie, saying that he was just returning the favor since Jiwoo treated him well, and that the great Caden doesn't worry about anyone. However, he offers to teach him how to develop and efficiently use his powers. Jiwoo doesn't even know something like that exists, and is surprised to realize that Caden actually wants to do that. The two go to the basement, and Caden tells Jiwoo that the only reason his power has developed a bit is because he has been using it for a long time. But if he uses his methods, he will develop his powers even better. However, he warns him that it isn't a fool's errand, and he must work really hard for a long time to get good results, since powers don't just grow all of a sudden. Jiwoo's improvement would be dependent on how talented he is, and it would take him several months just to come close to Caden on how efficiently he can use his powers. When Jiwoo asks who developed the method of using power efficiently, Caden says that he is looking at the man. Telling Jiwoo to come closer, Caden puts his cute little paw on Jiwoo's heart and surges his power through him. He instructs Jiwoo that all his power is in his heart, and it spreads to the rest of his body like blood, so he is going to channel his powers into him. This way, he will learn how powers move and grow inside a body, and by remembering that feeling, he could do it himself one day. Jiwoo then tries to move the power inside him like Caden showed him, and Caden thinks that if Jiwoo tries hard enough, he will manage to do it in a few months. However, he doesn't know that Jiwoo is an absolute Riz Lord. Jiwoo immediately controls the power with his method and effortlessly moves it inside his body just like Caden showed him, making Caden wonder how he even managed to do that. This is where the video ends. Please like and subscribe. See you next time.